Hello, people with good taste. Welcome to the first Furude Shrine in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Des, and I am here with.
Anonymous.
Uh, the one and only horse scam of the seas.
Of what?
The seas.
Of the seas,
this.
of course.
Oh, summer horse game, summer out, gotcha game.
Yeah, I'm a gacha game character. This current outfit is the one that you get when you just do a normal pull. It's not that special. It's just I'm wearing a jacket.
Okay, so who's the fourth 5-star character we got in here?
Yensid.
Yeah, that's the rolled out of bed Yinsen. That's my favorite.
Well, anyway, speaking of different outfits, I do have a new sprite, which I will have on this episode. This will be the first episode with my new sprite.
Whoa! Look at it!
Whoa.
Look at the new sprite! Look at
Whoa.
that!
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
Sprite.
You see, whenever we record these, we're actually floating in the space, and we become our sprite, so we can actually see that right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not like Des posted it somewhere and we're looking at it.
So basically, it's really simple. I just shortened the hair of my sprite because I haven't had my hair like that in like a year. That was a quarantine experiment to see how much it would grow. And the things on my arms is just the jacket sleeves pulled back, so the sweater sleeves show like they show up.
Your chiseled arms?
No, because I have a sweater below.
Oh.
I'll show you the sprite since you clearly aren't on the same magical plane as we are.
I've never been on the same magical plane. To say I'm magical is clearly false.
Yeah, send it through this magical Discord text channel.
Oh man, this magical land, you have like a white outline around you?
Yes, because this magical land has like image size restrictions.
The drip.
I think that your new sprite is just very cursed looking in that like making a sprite bald kind of way.
because you're not used to seeing my sprite like this. You'll get used to it. Don't worry.
Can we make you bald?
Still cursed.
It's not a major change. It's not like when Sayome became a cat girl.
Yeah, Sayome went from mother in her 40s to a cat girl idol.
Just like every mother in their 40s.
I'm sorry. I made her watch too much Love Live. She became an idol. Let's start the episode.
Yay!
Yeah!
Let's
Yay!
go a tear away from this 5-minute tangent.
It's actually 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
3 minutes and 40 seconds, yeah.
It might be accurate if you have to cut down a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut down all the parts in which you speak horse cam, because I'm horsist like that.
Wow. What the fuck, dude?
So, basically, we are here today to talk about tier lists. We are gonna be rating the Higurashi arcs. We're gonna be separating the visual novel arcs from the Go and Sotsu arcs and see how it goes.
Oh yes, the
He
grand
paused.
return to Go Sotsu.
He felt fear before even saying those words. When was the last time we talked about Go and Sotsu?
Well, publicly, like 5 months ago.
Publicly, we're holding these secret Go Sotsu meetings.
I've been perfectly fine for the last 5 months. Like, I've been very sane. And as soon as we get to that tier list, I think all hell's breaking loose.
Man, you had to activate my trigger trauma.
Trigger trauma? What is wrong?
Yes.
Do we need to put a content warning on this episode?
Content warning, Go and Sotsu. Yes, this is...
Go and Sotsu are being discussed. Go if you don't want to be hurt.
Oh yeah, like full spoilers, right?
Yeah, full spoilers for everything. Not Umineko. I like it. It's easily 9 out of 10 anime.
Yeah, Anon keeps defending it, like on our own time, and Anon just I don't know what to do about it.
I can't stop watching it.
It's very avant-garde, experimental. Like they just made the same show twice.
Yeah.
Such a daring directional move.
What a pioneer. Truly a man ahead of its time.
Ryukishi will be studied by universities decades from now.
Yeah.
So, when we finished the Higurashi Sotsulog, I remember Anon saying, I wonder how long it will take. No, wait. Let me rephrase that. I wonder how long it will take until we talk about Higurashi again, because we were so burnt out.
Yeah.
So I guess the answer is until the start of February of the next year.
Yes.
So
I wish you had told me then.
Yeah, it's Higurashi month. We gotta celebrate the 20th anniversary somehow.
It's Higurashi month, Nipa.
is it?
No.
Is it
Higurashi month is in like a couple months.
It's in June,
you-
right?
If you count the actual
the-
events or the release of the game, then like you either count August or June.
Imagine having two birthdays.
If you count the release, it's August.
And during Higurashi month, we will be releasing one episode every day.
No. Absolutely not.
One episode every hour. Live for the whole month.
Lee, we're just gonna live stream the entire month of us talking about
You
Higurashi.
just record a 30-minute episode and then just release it in 1-minute chunks every day.
Yeah, it just stops in the middle of a minute. Like someone would be in the middle of a sentence. It'll just go. It'll just cut to like everyone has the outro too. It has to have the outro and the intro for each minute.
You gotta collect all the episode fragments, and then we will miracle occur.
Yeah, it's called our puzzle episode.
And like after it's all over, we don't even like release a video where it's just the full unedited or full uncut thing. It's just always going to be segmented like that. Why don't more podcasts do this?
Can we not do it linearly? Can we do it like? Can we do like the 7th minute followed by like the 2nd minute?
You just shuffle it.
So people have
that is avant-garde.
it's art.
That's how you make a mystery in a podcast.
We won't tell which minute is which until like somebody has put them all 30 of together. Whoever puts them all together
Tarantino episode.
wins a prize, and that is to watch Higurashi go with the one and only Anon.
Oh, yeah.
You get to watch Higurashi go with Anon.
Yeah, that's the prize. I'm already watching. I'm actually watching it right now.
Tier list? Should we get into the tier list now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stream it.
'Cause there's gonna be at least like 2 30-minute long debates about this.
Okay, so the way we've got this structured is so Rena stands for Onikakushi, Mion/Shion, depends on, it's the funny arc. So Mion Sprite is Watanagashi, Satoko is Tatarigoroshi, Rika is Himatsubushi, Shion Sprite is Meakashi, Keiichi is Tsumihoroboshi, Hanyu is Minagoroshi, and Takano is Matsuribayashi. Goddamn. So, what the discourse commence?
Onikakushi.
Yeah, tell me your opinion on Onikakushi, Horsecam.
Okay, Onikakushi to me is probably it's a weak start because of how if you compare it to the other arcs, I think Onikakushi is very weird in the sense that a lot of the things that happen to Onikakushi don't happen again in other arcs.
What?
And not like in the sense of like the formula of like the events of the arc, more like what the consistent events should be for each arc, where fucking what's his name dies, Tomitake fucking gets murdered, dies, and Takano's body is found. Onikakushi is the only arc where Takano's body isn't found that isn't specifically chapter 8.
Well, like I don't think that's a bad thing because it just raises more mystery. Like in every other arc in the second arc where you're like, oh shit, her body's found burned.
Yeah, how does
What
that?
the fuck?
How does Takano not being found dead like influence your opinion on the whole arc?
I think it's just because it's not consistent. Because there's no reason, like, this is gonna deep into like the whole Higurashi consistent mystery about through each arc, but like it's just that consistency in that is very weird because there's no reason to why Takano's body wouldn't be found in Onikakushi. She specifically hid a body to be found, and it wasn't found. I can understand if it was like if the body was found, but it was the information never got to like anybody's perspectives conscious. Maybe Keiichi just didn't pick up on that.
This is the problem of if this was during Go and Sotsu times, I would still be on Higurashi mode, because I remember there was a reason why Takano's body was not found. I just can't remember what it was.
So
now.
yeah, we're already reaching a problem here, because I actually thought Onikashi was really strong start, and
I
it
think
really actually hooked me into Higurashi, because you know, the way it was written really gave you that idea of paranoia, and that you know, you don't exactly know what's going on, and kind of made me wonder more about the mystery as to what the hell is happening.
I think Onikagashi on its own is really good. Like, I think it's probably really it's one of the best starts, because it really uses a lot what's used in the first half of its narrative in terms of using that second half. Like, I remember the zombie tag game, I was like, oh my god, the scene in, like, the second half was like, oh my god, this zombie tag were, like, they were using each other's information to learn things about other people. This is what tapping on the second half. How could that this narrative?
Wait, what? I don't get your point, Horsecam. What
What are you trying to say?
What does the zombie tag that happens in, like, the first 5 minutes have to do with the second half of the arc?
Because in the zombie tag, Mion and the other people start using other students to help them tag other people in order to make sure they know what they are and what they're doing. That's essentially like a symbolism of how the village works and how they pass out information through other villagers.
Oh, yeah, that's clever. Yeah, but I still have a question about your opinion on Onikakushi though. So what you're saying is Onikakushi is really solid on its own, but then as you get more into the series, because it does have some inconsistencies with the other arcs, that makes it worse in retrospective?
I don't think it's terrible worse. It's just that it has inconsistencies that I personally find weird in the narrative, even though I already think Higurashi's constant mysteries already pretty weird and stupid.
Well, like, is it more inconsistent than the other arcs, just having, like, one or two other thing that doesn't really happen in other ones?
Oh, I'm with Dust. I seem to recall possibly a reason why.
Yeah, there might
I don't think there is, like, an explained reason, but I think it's, like, pretty easy to just, like, imply, like, a reason that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, would it, because, like, what would you come up with? Would you say that Oishi just didn't tell Keiichi? Like, that wouldn't make sense, because Oishi was providing Keiichi with information. That's one of the reasons why he starts going L5.
Well, I think it's just possible that just in this arc, it just happens that she doesn't have, like, the body prepared. Or just there's no body prepared. Like, that makes sense for just one arc, one universe, having something weird. Or it could be, like, in the... like, one of the manga jokes where Takano was like, oh my god, my corpse will have a penis.
Wait, what?
Well, that's a joke in the
What?
I think that's something about specifically the body that they found technically has something that Takano doesn't have, and I don't remember what it was. But it wasn't the penis joke.
Yeah, and Takano was like, well, this isn't, like, perfect, but I guess we'll go with it, right?
Yeah, I think that's...
I seem to recall something like that. Yeah, but well, that's details that we don't have to we don't need to go into those details.
Yeah,
I think it's, like, very nitpicky. I think about Onikakushi that it's a very good vertical slice of Higurashi for, like, better and worse.
Well, what do you mean by a vertical slice? That's an expression I don't know.
Oh, a vertical slice is like it's like usually used in, like, game design, I think, but it's a section of a story, or, like, a section that you kind of, like, uses, like, a demo that, like, showcases, like, pretty much a little bit of everything. That you'd expect from, like, the rest of the thing.
Yeah, that's a really good way to summarize it.
Yeah.
But, like, I'd say it's a very good vertical slice for better or worse, because, like, the pacing of, like, the entire first half is, like, would be, like, pretty slow for, like, a lot of people. But if you, like, get through it, you're, like, prepared for the rest of Higurashi, and you're definitely interested in seeing, like, what the fuck the rest is going to happen in the story.
I think, along with what Anon says, I think Onikakushi is like a really, really good horror story because just the atmosphere around it, like the sound effects and the music, especially on the second, like there are some moments on the first half, but especially on the second half where Keiichi really starts getting paranoid. Like it's just the atmosphere that the thing gives you. It's so suffocating and intense. Like when Keiichi thinks invisible Rene is in his home, or like when he's in the telephone, then he turns back. Like, no, you see Keiichi's back through a CG, and then Rene is just there. Then if his father tells him that Rene was there or something, it's just like,
yeah, I liked that part.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the vertical slice thing is the best way to describe Onikakushi.
Yeah, Onikakushi. Onikakushi, I think, is a really good art. It's strong. I have nitpicks around it, but most of it revolves around constant mystery.
Yeah.
I do think out of the first 3 arcs, I think this arc you can mostly come up with a okay answer to almost everything in this arc.
Wait,
I saw like listen to a podcast of people like going through like Higurashi for like mostly the first time. Like they did like some of the question arcs like a long time ago, but this is like mostly their first time, and they just like fucking basically solved Onikakushi, and I was like amazed that happened.
Yeah.
Wow, damn, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when the syringe was there, they were like they said they were doing what they were going to do to Takano, which probably means that it's a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's wow. That's amazing.
Based alert.
Another thing I forgot about Onikakushi is that fucking now I forgot about it again.
So in final, I think we could put Onikakushi in A tier.
Wait, let me meditate for a bit. What the fuck did I want to say?
I agree with like the spot of A tier to just like let some other things be like top.
Because I know
tier,
like
but still like
there's an arc coming up.
Onikakushi is like mostly really good.
Yeah, there are some parts that I think because of that slow start, I've seen so many people be really turned off from Higurashi.
Yeah, so I completely understand.
Because,
yeah,
yeah, that's why I say like
thanks for your Kishi.
Vertical slice in a good and bad way, because it'll turn people off who wouldn't like the rest of it because of the pacing.
Yeah, even though I personally think Onikakushi's first half is okay, it's pretty decently paced. It goes from slice of life to something to contribute to the mystery to... Because most of the slice of life sections have a sort of importance to establish, like, the consistency of who these people are. At least in the first chapter.
Yeah, it's not the worst slice of life. It's not the worst slice of life of Higurashi.
It's not as bad as some regular arcs.
Yeah.
Like in fucking Sumharaboshi. Where, like, slice of life in that arc is just awful to watch.
Is that the one where they have the competition on Angel Mart?
Yeah, that's where the Xbox 360 comment is made.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so the fourth wall breaking video game reference happening in the arc where he's trying to convince someone to help a child abuse victim.
Yeah. Was that 7? Oh, that is 7. I'm sorry. I thought that was 6.
Ah, so it's in Minagarashi.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the thing I wanted to say and I forgot, it's actually not that important. It's just that Onikakushi, besides the horror moments, also has those moments where it makes you go like, wait, what the fuck? That's so cool. Like, that's so cool in the sense that I did not see that coming. Like at the very end, when you realize that the will basically that Keiichi wrote before leaving his home in the finale, it was torn, and then the syringe that he hid was no longer in the clock. It's like just this building up of mystery upon mystery that makes you go like, when is this building up gonna stop? It's just It keeps going and it keeps going, and it really pulls you into the next arc, and then you get into slice of life again and possibly drop Higurashi. But we'll get into that after we place Onikakushi on A tier. Yeah, everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with A tier.
Yes.
All right.
Watanagashi.
This is my favorite question arc. I
Really?
really like this arc. This arc is... I honestly... This is... Because as you said with Onikakushi, I wasn't very surprised with Onikakushi. Mostly because Onikakushi is literally the most popular arc in the series. Most people who have seen Higurashi at least have seen Onikakushi or knows what happens.
Well, it's the first. It's the first arc. Even if you drop it, you've seen it.
Yeah, because I originally watched the anime before, at least the anime of Onikakushi, before I read all of Higurashi, and I was like, oh, I already know this. Even in the anime, mostly because the anime is poorly paced, most of the surprises happening in it is not that surprising. Or like Watanagashi, like it's so funny how many people get bamboozled by the twin stuff. Like, cause I got bamboozled by it, and I remember somebody in this server has posted like a bunch of things where a bunch of people get bamboozled by the twin stuff, because a lot of people think, oh, it's
that's
just
the
Neon.
point. That's the objective.
Yeah, I was like surprised too.
I think this arc is similar. I like it a similar amount to Onikakushi. Maybe a little more though, because I will say you do kind of get a bit more into the mystery, and you ask some more questions, and you wonder what's like. Is there a bigger conspiracy at play here? Yeah, I think I like it a bit more than Onikakushi.
Yeah, Watanagashi, I think, is it's an interesting arc in the fact that, like, it's the only arc that is focusing mostly on Neon, because Neon is not a focus on any other arc, I think.
Yeah, Neon doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, Herskem, weren't you the one who had like a gripe with Watanagashi?
That's
where it was like building up Mion, and then half the character development was actually Shion.
I mean, it still works. I still really like it. It's not the fact of like, oh, it ruins a lot of the character development set up for Mion, because that character development is ultimately for Shion, which I think still works in terms of the story. Because when you read Miyakashi, you are kind of feeling... Because when I read Miyakashi, I was like, oh man, you ruined Mion. And then Mion really grew as a character in later arcs. But that's later arcs. And if you went to Watanagashi, like, I think its beginning is the slowest part, I think.
Definitely.
Because I forget how long... It's slow, but in a way that, like, I think really kind of has its own mystery. And I think that's something about Watanagashi, unlike other arcs, where like there's something happening in that first half of that slow part that makes you kind of be like, what's going on? Instead of like, oh, please, just take me to the fucking festival.
I mean, yeah, you do have the mystery of the sisters going on at the start, but I feel like it's so boring. The first half of Watanagashi is definitely the worst first half of all the arcs, because
I don't think so. I think the worst first half is definitely
I know you hate Minagoroshi.
Tatari.
Oh, wait.
And Minagoroshi, but the Minagoroshi in itself is just boring.
Well, we'll get to it. I think Watanagashi, I think it's worse than Onikakushi. I think it's the weaker arc for me, because I mean, you got some nice mysteries, some nice developments.
This arc made me like Rena.
Yeah,
this arc really showed a lot of Rena's character.
Yes, exactly. I definitely agree with you on there. Rena in Onikakushi was just a regular,
scary.
Your stereotypical anime girl, and then turns into a stereotypical yandere. It's not a yandere, but it's like the murder volley everybody knows Higurashi for. Yeah, and then in Watanagashi, it's where she really starts showing her true colors. She's like a character with real depth, and that starts showing in Watanagashi. So that's a good point for Watanagashi. But all around, even though it is a good arc, I think it's definitely the weakest. And the first half, I took so much time to read Watanagashi because of the first half.
I thought, Watanagashi is a really good arc. Like, the first half is really good. Like, it's I think the opposite of you. I think the first half is probably the best first half in any of the question arcs, at least. I don't know about the answer arcs, because the answer arcs are a bit
why?
different.
Because of the sister mystery, because of Keiichi trying getting more emotionally intelligent.
Yes, I actually really like that. That really felt really it wasn't intense. It was like low stakes mystery, which I really weirdly like. Is a low stakes mystery.
Well, you also really like romance stories, don't you? So that may be also why you.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, because the first half of Minagoroshi, it's literally kind of like a pseudo-romance story between Mion and Keiichi.
I guess, but that was not the part I was focusing on. I mostly focused on, like, the low-stakes mystery of what is Mion doing, which is kind of romance, so I'll give you that.
Okay.
I'd say I like Watanagashi about as much as Onakakushi.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty close for me.
It is a solid arc, but, like, it isn't my favorite of the question arcs, and I feel like whenever I think about it, I think more about Meakashi, and I think it's, like, it feels incomplete without it, in a way that the other question arcs don't.
Yeah.
I don't think this arc does work without Miyakashi. I think this is a good arc if you don't include Miyakashi. I think Miyakashi makes the arc a little bit better in terms of like how that's connected, where I don't think Miyakashi would ever stand on its own. Like that's my future thoughts of Miyakashi. But Watanagashi, I think, stands very much on its own, and I love the ending. I think its ending is really good. It basically puts a lot of really good mysteries and like a jump. It also has a jump scare at the end for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Wait, which one are it?
Kind of.
Which one's the jump scare? Is it?
That's when Mion appears and gives. No, that's when Mion appears and gives Keiichi a heart attack.
Wait, doesn't that happen in Watanagashi as well?
Yeah, that happens in Watanagashi. That's what.
Yeah, that happens in both, right? Am I tripping?
No, I don't think so.
No, like in both arcs, they show up outside of Keiichi's home. Then.
No, this is in the hospital. This is
in the hospital. Okay, yeah.
This is where Keiichi most likely hallucinates Mion wanting to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know when
Ian
Sid was talking about Watanagashi, I was agreeing with him. But you know, Harscam, I think I do agree with you actually in that Watanagashi and Meakashi do stand on their own, because like in a way all of the question arcs feel incomplete because that's what they are. They are question arcs, and I don't think, now that I think about it, I think like Meakashi, fucking Watanagashi is just like Onikakushi in Tatari Goroshi. Fucking go! I was about to say Tatari Damashi. Like all of them have mysteries, like introduce new mysteries, kinda answer something, or like provide more information about past mysteries. Now that I think about it, it's kind of the same. I don't think Watanagashi is incomplete without Meakashi.
Well, I'd say about it being incomplete is that, like, when I think of like the like motivations for the villain in that arc, the motivation only in like that you assume in Watanagashi is just really fucking stupid. Whereas like the motivation for Shion in Meakashi like makes a lot more sense. And like completes the arc more.
That's just how you perceive the question arc.
Yeah, but even if it's just how you perceive it, Jensen does have a point that as you read, there is.
Yeah.
Well, like you're saying like that Watanagashi like stands on its own more than Meakashi, but like if you're only presented with the information of Watanagashi, I feel like the characterization is a lot worse than like what you are presented with as your like natural conclusion in the other question arcs for the characters.
Yeah, I guess.
So just remind me, what's the supposed motivation of the villain Mion in Watanagashi? Because I don't remember.
In Watanagashi, like she
was sad.
It's like you're meant to believe, or Keiichi believes that Mion is angry and killing everyone because he gave the toy to Rena and not to Mion.
And that awakened the demon inside her. Yeah.
I mean, you could, like, I think the writer probably, like, I don't know much about what Ryukishi wanted to do here, because he probably wanted you to doubt that. Like, that's probably how you're supposed to solve that wasn't her real motivation, because it's blatantly told to you that's her motivation repeatedly in Watanagashi. Where, like, Keiichi's like, I'll buy you that doll. He even buys the doll at the end.
Yeah, like, I think it works as a setup and then payoff in the answer arcs. It's just that if it's, like, incomplete with just the question arcs, it's, like, worse off than the other question arcs being incomplete.
Also, before we move on and rank it, I want to say a fun fact. I think this is the only arc where, like, I think when the answer arcs came, I got 90% of the answers correct. I almost solved everything. I just didn't have Xion as the culprit.
What a massive dick you have, Horsecam. You're so cool.
Well, I knew that.
I'm joking, Horsecam. Sorry, Horsecam. That's actually very cool. I was just joking. Sorry, that was mean.
Oh, I knew that the quote unquote Mion survived by just switching with the quote unquote Xion, and then killing Xion, and then leaving as Xion. That's what I knew, and I thought it was Mion for going to be Xion. I didn't know they already were switched.
Yeah, because it's also like a whole challenge in itself, figuring out which parts were Mion, which parts were Xion. That it's only after you understand who the characters are and their motivations and all of that you can start dissecting which scenes had Mion and which scenes had Xion.
All right, so I think this is high A tier, maybe even S tier. But
yeah, I think A tier is where I'd go for it too.
I think A tier for me too, not quite S tier.
Yeah, I agree, A tier. So A tier.
Put it in front of Onikakushi.
Should we care about order within the tiers?
I'd say let's not order the tiers just so it's like more agreed upon. Just put it where you just put it like chronologically.
Yeah, does everybody agree? I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, A tier, yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Tatari
Goroshi.
You know, I have mixed feelings about this one. I'm always the first to defend this one, but I always defend it because I love the ending. The ending gave me chills, but the ending is not the whole arc.
No.
Wow, so you didn't like the rest of the arc? Really?
Well, I really liked it. I liked it at the point whenever kind of Keiichi starts to lose it. So as is a kind of continuous theme, I really did not like the first half. It might be my least favorite first half.
Really?
In the question arcs.
Honestly, I can't remember what happened in that first half.
I can't remember the first half either.
The first half is... I'll tell you what happens in the first half. After the slice of life scenes with Satoko, where you learn that Satoko is like super strong, and they go like baseball and shiz. Then Teppei comes back, and the first half is basically the subtle, harrowing feeling that Sadako has been kind of kidnapped by Teppei, and what are we gonna do about it? My friends are like not gonna do anything about it. I'm trying to do something, I can't. Let's go to the child welfare center. They also can't do shit. And then second half is where Keiichi is like, I'm just gonna take matters into my own hands.
Yeah.
So basically, the first half is just Tatari Damashi and go.
Well,
what? Wait, what?
This came. Yeah, what?
Wait, thinking is. What the fuck?
I literally. Okay, I know, but I know I'm.
Get your go brain out of here.
Essentially, it's just fucking. I don't know. I think the first half of this story is just kind of it's interesting and with Teppei and Satoko, this whole Satoko, is Satoko okay? What's wrong with Satoko is interesting, but I think it's hard to pinpoint why I don't.
So I think I can kind of pinpoint why I don't like it. It's because let's be honest, Satoko was a really weak character in the visual novel.
Yeah.
I mean, she barely appeared in the first two arcs.
Not that I didn't care about her, and not that I wasn't invested in this whole Teppei thing, but it was just the slice of life, like you said, oh, whoa, she's really strong, but really aside from that, she hadn't gotten much development up until here. So I wasn't as invested.
Yeah, because the first arc she barely appeared in. The second half, I don't think Rika or Satoko appear, or if they do, it's very, for, one or two scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a character, Satoko is more just defined by her connection to other characters than just her as a character, because as a character, she's just she has funny traps, and she plays pranks.
Well, she's also 10 years old.
So is Rika.
Yeah, but okay, but
No, she isn't.
No.
what I mean
No.
by
Shut up.
Satoko is a child. You can't expect a child to be like a super in-depth character that you can psychoanalyze for 2 hours, you know? So I think in that sense, Satoko is a good character because she does reflect what a child is like.
There's a character younger.
I think she's like fine for her purpose.
I mean, there is a character younger in another visual novel series you can psychoanalyze.
However, that being said, I don't like the first half, but the second half might be my favorite, like, second half out of the question arcs.
Personally, Tatsugoroshi is my favorite question arc, just because I don't really remember much of the first half, but I don't really like the first halves of most of the Higurashi arcs, so I just kind of judge them by their second halves anyway.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because the first halves are all kind of hard to get through at times.
Yeah.
But the second half for this one, I love Oishi as kind of this villain. I love Keiichi, just the whole process going through planning this murder, like...
Yeah, the 100 minutes thing? No, 100 seconds.
Yeah, that, oh my...
1500, I think.
Yeah, 1500 seconds.
Yeah, I just fucking love the way the first-person perspective is written from Tatsugoroshi, because, like, you don't really see, like, visual novels, like, going through the process of the murderer and not just, like, the detective. And it just being, like, the turning point where the mysteries go from, like, weird things are happening in this town to, like, is this town even fucking real? What the fuck is going on? I just love that shift.
I think my favorite part about that monologue is when he finishes that monologue and fucking Rena just, like... Because Rena, like, because he has this whole thought process in front of Rena and Mion. And Rena is just looking at him very concerned. Like, to the point, I believe she says, like, your eyes, like, fucking started freaking out. Like, are you okay?
It's such a good second half.
Yeah, I think it's, like, arc that, like, benefits the most from being told in, like, a visual novel or from, like, a prose format.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because to be fair, this was... If you think back to the Dean anime, if you guys watched it, I'd say this is kind of a bit weaker in the Dean anime, because, yeah, the whole first person... Yeah, what is it? It's a fair bit weaker, like...
Wait, so why do you think it benefits from being a visual novel? Because you don't see the horror? You are
just that whole first-person perspective and the thought process, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so much of it is happening in Keiichi's mind of... processing, like, what do I fucking do, and, like, going to this is the only natural conclusion, and just the, just, like, the fucking fear and just everything going on in his mind that just isn't really as possible to just convey visually.
Like, because, like, every thought he has is, like, very, like, because you feel like you're helping him commit the murder, because you see... Like, when every obstacle he starts freaking out, like...
and you start to... It's,
The bike, when he has to get rid of the bike, and or Takano comes up on him.
The Takano scene with him talking to Takano is also one of my favorite parts, because it's like... It just kind of, Takano's just been this mysterious character this whole time, and now you're getting bits and pieces of her true self, and, like... I mean, you got some of that in Watanagashi, you got a bit of that as well, but just that whole talking in the van, and then Takano talking with him whenever she dropped him off, and then you found out Takano was supposed to be dead.
yeah. Oh my god, you're telling me this, and I'm reliving my Tatarigoroshi experience in my head,
it's
and
so
I just...
good. And, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the ending with the interview with Keiichi, and like how he just thinks he's some sort of god who can just will people into death. And I tried to find the CG, I couldn't find it, but that CG of him just like staring wild-eyed.
Like, the second half of Tatarigoroshi just keeps getting wilder and wilder, because you start with Keiichi just wanting to take matters into his own hands, and then he starts going insane, and then you have like one of the best Rena scenes, just telling Keiichi things as it is, that he's fucking going insane, he's not gonna solve anything, just gonna make matters worse. And he doesn't even know if Satoko wants to be saved. Maybe she isn't even, maybe this is what she wants somehow, or something. Like, he doesn't understand Satoko's situation. Keiichi's being selfish, and Rena just tells him that. Keiichi doesn't know the extent of what's actually going on. Maybe he means good and he's actually doing something bad. He doesn't know. Then Keiichi just keeps going. Then he fucking starts plotting a murder. He just does everything wrong. He asks his mother how not to be found.
Oh yeah, that the scene where he's like, oh, you like to read murder novels, right? Or whatever. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Then he just doesn't have an alibi. He forgets his shovel or something. He has to go back to his home, come back, and then he misses. He doesn't hit Teppei. He has to pursue him. Then when he...
Yep. Oh my gosh, whenever he misses, and just that whole pursuit is so good.
Then it starts to rain, and he's like, holy shit. And then the next day, Satoko tells him Teppei was home, even though he buried him. And then he's found out by Oishi, and then Oishi kicks in and forces him to dig it back.
Oishi, I loved Oishi's antagonistic move.
And then to top it all off, he starts wishing people dead, and people actually do start dying.
Yeah, the final moments of the novel where where him and Satoko find Rika's body, which is and then Satoko thrown off a bridge, and Keiichi be knocked out for 3 days at the bottom of a bridge that's like, I don't remember how tall that bridge is supposed to be.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be quite tall.
Well, but you see, I don't remember if this was in text or in the CG, but I'm pretty sure there was like a car bench there, so he could have survived through the car bench.
I mean, if he fell on a couch, I could maybe think that, but being knocked out for 3 days, that's a bit long. No, it wasn't 3 days. It was about a day and a half, because he wakes up like after the quote unquote breaking Namisawa disaster.
Yeah.
The one thing I love about it being like told in prose is that the whole arc really fucking just pushes you into his mindset where you're like, murder is the only solution, where you just really want to fucking kill this guy.
No, yeah, at that point I was just like, oh, yeah, Keiichi, I agree.
But then he just like fucking demolishes his head, and you're like, yeah!
Yeah, you really do cheer for him. It really feels like you're there with Keiichi, like Ryukishi picked, like Higurashi picked with Tatarigoroshi.
I haven't watched like the Dean anime, but I can kind of imagine how in a visual medium it'd probably feel a lot more like just going weirdly drastic, of just like, I don't know what to do, time to kill him.
I mean, you could just get into his thoughts. There's nothing, you can just have his thoughts, or like
yeah, I think that like
the audience that.
I think that like anime adapting prose stuff should just like have monologues and shit instead of just trying to convey visually things that just it isn't capable of communicating visually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how would we rank Tatarigoroshi?
I'd rank it S tier.
Okay, before we rank Tatarigoroshi, I just wanted to say that about the first half, because we've talked at length about the second half, but about the first half, I really don't understand why you guys don't like it, because I honestly think I think the first half is really good. Like the Sadako situation and the way Keiichi feels really well portrayed, and I don't know, I feel like it's really good.
I mean, it's a good lead up to that second half, but like it's just not interesting to. It's not interesting to read through.
It is a good lead up.
I think that the first half is good at building up like the fucking just hatred for Teppei and sadness for Satoko.
I think it is probably it's the one where like the first half really does bleed into the second half, where like I think Oni Kakashi's first half has kind of nothing to do with the second half.
Well, yeah, it's like the first one, so you're just learning about these characters. I think that makes sense.
Okay, so you do acknowledge that it's like one of the first half that's the most connected to its second half, but you still don't think it's that good.
No, yeah, I was probably being a bit harsh earlier. Realistically,
it is boring, but it does do a lot of good lead up to It does you pay off what is set up there. It's like how I like stories sometimes, where it has a boring start and then like it starts paying off on that boringness.
Yeah, which I do understand from a writer's perspective. I do understand why you would do that, because of course you need some rising action, you need some exposition.
Like, I don't think it really harms Tatsugoroshi much compared to most other arcs, where I just kind of just go through the first arc as homework for the first half as as homework for the second half.
Okay.
Alright, so how would we rank Tatari Goroshi?
I'd rank it S tier.
I'd rank it S tier.
Me too. Yo, an S from everyone. Damn, congratulations, Tatari Goroshi.
I love Tatari Goroshi.
It's not my favorite question arc, but I can acknowledge how good it is in turn. How good it is. It's just I think that first half really sinkens my feelings about it. Oh, and the Go. I don't know why. Go made me more sour about Tatari Goroshi.
Well, yeah, I am. That's why I'm glad we waited a while to do this after.
Yeah.
Go finished. Go Sotsu in general made me sour towards Higurashi, but since it's been a while, I can kind of give my feelings without Go Sotsu's interference.
I feel like Go doesn't harm my opinion on Tatsuri Goroshi. It just harms my opinion on Mina Goroshi, because it really shows like how fucking just nothing of an arc it is, just in a vacuum.
Oof,
We'll get to my feelings on Mina Goroshi.
I have to oppose you on that when we get to Mina Goroshi.
Yeah.
Alright, Himatsubushi, the shortest arc.
Himatsubushi.
Also, probably my least favorite arc.
They really much to say about this one.
Yeah, like, I'm fine just putting it in, like, the lowest or second lowest tier, because, like,
yeah, I think it does have some really cool parts included in the PC part.
It's a fine intermission with, like, good...
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I mean, it doesn't really feel like an actual arc. It does feel like an intermission, but I do like it for what it is.
Yeah, I like it for what it is. It's just, like, compared to most other things, it just doesn't have much strength to it for me to rank it, like, anywhere high.
Okay, it's kind of unfair to compare Himatsubushi to the other arcs, because it's not, like, the structure isn't the same, and most importantly, what it set out to do really isn't the same. I think for what it was supposed to be, it's a good arc, so I don't think we should rate it D.
I agree, and that's why it's kind of hard to place it, because I'm not...
mostly just to set up Rika more, because otherwise, like, later arcs would just have Rika doing shit, and you would be like, what the fuck is Rika doing?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, Himatsubushi was the arc where the twist that this NPC called Rika was actually the main character all along would come in, but in this day and age, that's kind of not a twist anymore.
Yeah, because, like, when you see that in, like, Miyakashi, does Rika do that? No, she doesn't do it in Miyakashi, kind of. Maybe in that one scene, but mostly she
shows herself to know something that others don't know in Watanaga. When she does, like, her little things, but you don't, like, she in Himatsubushi, she fucking tells Akasaka her wife is gonna die. Like, that's more than knowing some things.
I think that what the consoles add to what the console versions add is they add some monologues with Rika, where, like, you have a really good monologue that's, like, very Umineko style monologue to this Higurashi, where she talked about the choice of a red box and a blue box. That monologue is a really good one, but, like, I honestly don't know how that applies to Higurashi as much. Because it's just talking about choices.
Yeah.
Maybe I should reread that arc. Reread this arc.
Oh wait, yeah, I remember what you're talking about. Because it was just the weird random choice.
It's just like, oh, if you pick the red box, you're not gonna know what's on the blue box. So maybe just be satisfied with what's on the red box. Ha ha ha. Right?
Yeah. I think that's about, like, Rika accepting, like, her choices and what her thing is, I think.
Yes, because at this point, Rika is has become a defeatist.
Because I think the last arc she gave up. Because I think Tatari Goroshi, she almost practically gave up completely.
I think she has given up since. I think when Higurashi starts, she has already given up. She only intervenes here and there as, like, kind of on a whim. because she doesn't show herself to be that active during Higurashi.
I always thought that Onikakushi was like towards the beginning of her loop cycle.
What? Not at all.
Like, she doesn't have much knowledge.
No, I thought that like all of the arcs happened like near the end of her loop cycle.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because like
I probably think it's not that late to where she's giving up, but like late enough to where like she's starting to not care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she actually does try to do stuff. Like when Satako's missing in Watanagashi, she does try to do stuff.
Oh, but she has gone through so many. Like there's some part of the text that pretty explicitly says that she has gone through Tatarigoroshi, similar to Tatarigoroshi arcs, multiple times. So I think that could just be her going on autopilot at this point.
Okay, so I think Kimazumishi is a C. Like there's some like the mahjong thing in like the middle of the fucking arc is so boring.
Well, I just skipped that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is literally why.
Because I mean, it is hard to rank this arc when it doesn't quite feel like a question arc or an answer arc. It's just an intermission, really.
Yeah, I think the problem with it is that it's basically just the first half of an arc as an entire arc, or it fills that narrative purpose without, like, the payoff of, like, oh shit, did you see what happened at the end there? So it doesn't really, like, leave much of a positive impression, even if it does useful things for the story.
Yeah, because it's essentially just a bonus arc. Because, like, even, like, the All-Star review for Tatari Goroshi doesn't even mention this arc. They literally say, "Stay tuned for the next arc, Miyakashi."
Because it wasn't even planned. It was.
Well, yeah, it wasn't planned.
Yeah, Ryukishi just thought maybe I should have put something here. Well, before Miyakashi, I'll write another arc.
Yeah,
and that's what it
only took me 6 hours to beat this arc, unlike other arcs. It's not that long.
Yeah.
I think you can go in C tier. Yeah. Because like it's not bad, but it just doesn't have much strengths to rate it very high.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Miyakashi.
I really like Miyakashi.
It's your favorite arc, right?
I'm not sure if, like, I think, like, Tatsugoroshi and Miyakashi might be tied for my favorite arc, but it is, like, my favorite answer arc.
It's not my favorite answer arc. I do like it, but... well, the beginning was boring. I know we can say that about every single one, but...
like... I think Miyakashi, in my book, is kind of, like, it's not, like, it's like boring or bad, but I don't find it like something like that I have a lot of memorable moments in.
Yeah.
Like with other arcs. Or like even Minagoroshi, like the ending of Minagoroshi is like very memorable.
Yes.
Miyakashi, I can't really remember a whole lot other than like the fingernail stuff that happens like literally like 10 minutes in. That doesn't happen. No, it happens like an hour.
What?
But...
That's in the anime. What are you talking about? Fingernails in 10 minutes in?
Where your fingernail? Yeah, the fingernail scene. It's pretty. In the relative of the story progression, it is very recent. It's like in the beginning.
What? Does the fingernail scene happen at the beginning of Miyakashi? Am I missing something?
It might. I might be thinking of the anime's pacing.
Yeah, the anime is the one that opens up with the nails scene. Miyakashi opens with Shion fleeing from St. Lucia.
Yeah, because Shion as a character, I want to care about, but like, I honestly don't really.
Really? I think she's very charismatic. Like she's very. I really like her playful nature.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't this the baseball scene in this one? No, that was Tatari Goroshi, right.
There's also baseball scenes in Miyakashi because Shion becomes the coach to meet with Satoshi.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Then you have the whole scene with Rena on the bus stop.
I think it's because it's the only arc where, like... it's the only answer arc where it's a complete parallel to another arc.
Yeah, so that's...
Where it's literally just a other arc from a different perspective. So
no, it's not a complete parallel. It's similar, but it's not...
Yeah, like, there is at least, like, one difference where, like, Shion saves Keiichi in the bike scene and not the other way around. So it's, like, just a very, very similar universe.
Yeah, which I think it's a neat thing to do, because it gives you the sense that this is not Watanabe from a different perspective. This is just what Rika has been going through for 100 years, which is seeing the same fucking events just slightly different over and over again.
I guess, but like, to me, Shion's monologues and thoughts that to me aren't as interesting as other characters.
Really?
She doesn't go it's not, well, yeah, she doesn't go paranoid, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
She doesn't go paranoid?
Shion? As paranoid. She gets more frantic, not paranoid.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. L5 Shion does feel a bit more grounded than Keiichi.
Miyakashi's just a weird arc to me. I didn't really like it so much, but I didn't hate it.
Well, I think Miyakashi is better than Watanagashi, to be honest. Because the second half, I consider it to be as interesting. And the first half, I think Miyakashi's first half is really solid. You got this thing with Satoshi going on, which is kind of like a detour from the original story and like the original mystery. But in a way, it's also tied, and it also provides you new information about the mystery. I think it's really interesting.
I really like Miyakashi, but I can understand why some other people won't, because I really like the way it fleshes out Shion's character, and I like the way that her monologues and internal thoughts are handled, and I think that it being a parallel to another arc makes it like retrospectively combined with Watanagashi to be like one strong arc. When you, like, just think about, like, the events happening in parallel.
I do like her as a point of view character.
Yeah, I do like it's a very different character to Keiichi, where Keiichi's a big dumbass. Shion isn't. Shion notices a lot of things. Honestly, I would rank Miyakashi at least B tier for me.
Fuck, this is hard, because I would put Watanagashi in B and Miyakashi in A.
I would not say Miyakashi is better than Watanagashi. I definitely would not say that. Together, I think they are a good A tier, or even an S tier together. If they're both together, I think they would be an S tier. But like if separated, I think one half of them has to be lower than the other one.
They would not work as one arc horse game, because Watanagashi it's based on the fact that you do not know the depths of.
I do like them as separate arcs.
Yeah, like I don't think like both arcs work like if you were seeing them in parallel with like
No. I mean like if you read them one after the other.
No, that would make it worse, horse game, because then you'd be jumping from one arc to one that's very too similar to be one after the other. You'd be too bored to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might really like Miyakashi just because I'm very fond of like same story, different perspectives that show like a really interesting perspective that you like wouldn't have thought of previously.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a storytelling structure I particularly like. So I think that it being that after Watanagashi like elevates it a bit for me.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Watanagashi, he was basically just about the mystery. Like, its strong point was the mystery that you did not know what was going on. Miyakashi is giving you answers, so it needs to have something else supporting the narrative, and that something else is, well, the answers and the introduction of a new character, Shion, and a new perspective.
Well, Shion's not a new character.
Shion is a new character in the sense that, like, Shion had been an NPC up until now, basically. Like, she showed up sometimes, said some cool lines, funny things. Well, anyway, what do you rate Miyakashi?
I would say B.
I think it's like personally an S tier, but I'd be fine with like A tier.
Personally an S tier. What parts of Miyakashi do you like so much? Just the kind of perspective change and.
Yeah, I think mostly the perspective and just the character of Shion.
Well, Horse Game meets a B for you, right?
Yeah, B.
This one's kind of hard to rate for me. I do like it, but I also kind of understand where Horse Game's coming from.
I understand it just, like, might just kind of feel like just a repeat to some other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I do feel like that sometimes, but also I am not opposed to that sort of thing in a visual novel. I think it's interesting to kind of see events from another perspective. And like you said, it's not a complete repeat, but, if we were doing this, like, where the orders mattered, I probably would put this low A tier, because I wouldn't quite feel right putting it in B tier.
Alright, then I guess it's settled. Miyakashi is going to A tier.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, I already know where this next arc is going to, because I really love this arc. This is my favorite arc of Higurashi. Fucking
S-tier time! I love this arc.
Sumo Horoboshi is literally the fucking best arc.
I love this arc
series.
so much.
Like, its first half is okay, but like, its first half is okay. It's not bad, it's not boring, it's interesting. A lot of it's just Rena just going around town and being sad.
Well, Rena's backstory is very interesting, to be fair. Yeah. And like,
I agree.
I will say, like, when she starts talking about her past, like, that's when like it really hooked me. That's when like this story is gonna hook people. Is when she starts talking about it, because I remember visibly about when she talks about when she used to like cut herself and she would like just push the blood out, and I believe that made me squirm in my chair when she talked about that.
We already knew Rena was a pretty interesting character. We could see that from like Watanagashi, Onikakushi, but I mean it's like this is kind of the arc I was hoping for, like just really delving into Rena's past and her inner thoughts, and I just love it.
Yeah, why she's Rena with why she doesn't have an I in her name. And
yeah, I do like my opinion on Rena started very well in start of Higurashi. Then Watanagashi, it's when we learned that Rena is actually very proactive, and even though she doesn't show it below that facade, because okay, wait, I need to calm down. So Watanagashi, we learned that below the layer of typical anime girl, she's always thinking about something, either a way to have her friends or something. Then
she's very smart and very receptive of things
and caring. But even though she's caring, in Tatari Goroshi, you learn that she can also be fierce. Like when she confronts Keiichi about what she's doing, like she's not just saying that, she has thought about what she wanted to say. Like she knows what to say to Keiichi. And it's not like she's saying it because she wants to oppose Keiichi. She's saying it because Keiichi is very much... His thoughts are very much misplaced, and Rena is trying to fix that for him. And then in Tsumi Horoboshi, you learn everything else below. You learn that everything that Rena shows is a facade. That like she's such a deep character. And the one of the most blatant things that Tsumi Horoboshi does right is that the first half is nothing like the others. Like the first half of Tsumi Horoboshi isn't slice of life. It's Rena's backstory, and it opens up with like one of the most hooking scenes, which is just Rena on top of a car in a dumping site, and you can see the atmosphere is really heavy. And then Rena just starts saying, "Now I'll tell you the story of how Rena is the worst person or something."
Yes.
Yeah. The beginning of the arc, like, it's boring. It can be boring to some people, I know that. But, like, I found it really interesting, especially... The only parts that I really found interesting of that first half is Rena's backstory. When Rena goes and talks about her backstory, you could tell that it's somebody... Rena is someone who's very shaped by that experience. A lot why she does things is shaped because of her parents' divorce. Why of moving to that new city and being bewildered. And it's bewildered by new things and bad things constantly happening, to the point where like she takes drastic measures. She starts perceiving things awfully. Even the way that her own perception of her own body is being tainted out of these awful experiences. She gets rid of the eye of her name.
Yeah, because regardless of the syndrome contributing to that or not, what leads her to the thought that there are worms in my blood is because she starts thinking of herself as corrupted, because in a way she kind of helped her. Like she every time she went out with her mother, she would meet this uncle, and she felt guilty for not realizing that her mother was cheating on her father. So it's like it builds to Rena's character that she feels responsible for the things that happen around her, and she always does her best, even if she really doesn't have the responsibility to always be doing her best about everything.
And then the writing for the second half is so good.
Yeah.
I really like the use of the perspective because it switches between Keiichi's and Rena's perspective consistently throughout the thing. Occasionally it will switch to like Mion or Satoko for whatever fucking reason. Like I think it uses Satoko for like 2 pages. I don't know why.
I don't remember switching to Satoko.
It did switch to Satoko for like during the fight in the school.
Oh yeah.
When Satoko went to go grab a thing, it switched to her perspective for that whole scene, and that scene is like 3 pages.
But honestly, the second half of Tsumi Horobushi, you could be talking about it for so much time.
Yeah, because
it has so many good things.
Its perspective is really good. Rena's font color consistently changing as she gets more and more fucking paranoid and gets more corrupt in her head, like to the point that it becomes blood red. Haha, if you know what I'm talking about. Red, truth red. Haha.
One of the things that I really like about Tsumi Horobushi that I really don't see many people talking about is how the description of the episode, of the chapter that you have every time I start a new chapter, right? It tells you that this episode, like, you don't have to think about it. You can just enjoy the clowns, like, going around doing their thing. It calls the characters clowns. And then you get to the second half, and you understand what it was saying by calling the characters clowns, because you have so many parties that are just taking actions based on another party's actions, and they are just misinterpreting everything. You have the police thinking a second Rena has shown up in like a city somewhere else. Then you have Rena thinking the police is doing something else and acting on it, which in turn makes Keiichi act on something that isn't right by calling Mion and telling Mion to do something that also isn't right because the source is all fucked up. You got so many partings moving.
Like, the second half just consistently escalates in, like, what the fuck is happening. It goes from, like, Rena just once, like, it goes to the school and they're having a fun time. It's like, where's Rena? And fucking Rena pops in the door with that full sprite, with almost practically her full sprite, because they have to get the hatchet in, with her hatchet out and being like, and fucking holding the school hostage. It escalates from there.
I love the way the hostage situation was written.
To where, like, you have the fight on the roof, one of the most iconic moments in that chapter. That feels like, because it harkens back to the water gun fight at the beginning of that chapter.
Yeah,
that water gun fight.
It's so good.
Like, it literally, like, does the same animations from that water gun fight, and, like, it helps Rena calm down, even though she still is arrested.
Yeah. How did Ryukishi write this fight scene to make a character that was literally, by reasons not of her own violation, like, she was going insane by outside forces, like forces outside of her control. She was full of murder intent. How does Ryukishi write this character to literally be fighting to the death with the other character, and they somehow end up hugging and crying about, like, random shit? Like, how do you write this?
Like, it's insane, but I love it. I haven't read the bad ending to that arc, even though, like, Des has told me repeatedly to do so.
I don't actually remember what the bad ending to that arc is.
I think it's just Rena blows up the school and some other things happen.
But yeah, after the school hostage situation happens, there's also another really cool scene, which is you expect this, like, you have this climatic fight,
yes.
Then it ends, and then you expect something to happen, but no, the chapter just ends and it just tells you, and then everybody died, and you're like, wait, what? And what was this fight for?
Yeah, no, like, it shows the credits. It also shows the credits, and even Rika's like, because I think this is the first chapter where Keiichi starts remembering shit, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that scene with me on the blackboard, yes. That was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and yeah, Mion gets the fucking shit kicked out of her.
Yeah, that too. That was not what I was referring to, but yeah, that happens as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows that Mion... Like, it also shows Mion's character. Every character is showcased except Satoko, because Satoko's fuck you.
Okay, except for, like, really, like, for the scenes that matter, I really like that Tsumi Horobushi paid attention to all of the main characters. Like, all of the main characters, every time some big event happens in this chapter, all of the main characters have some part in it. Making Rena calm down in the dumping site, everyone is there, everyone contributes. Taking Rena down on the school hostage, everyone is there, everyone helps. It's like, I love it when stories do that.
Yeah, because this arc is so good, and it just ends. Though here's the thing, I think this is something that the anime does that I think I like better, is they actually didn't kill Rena at the end of that arc.
Yeah.
Because technically, Rena would have been transported to Okinomiya after she done the whole hostage situation. So she wouldn't have died in the Great Hinamizawa disaster.
That sounds like an interesting change.
Yeah, I think it's a good change.
It sounds interesting, but then you have to think about the inconsistencies with the syndrome. Like, you can skid out of your way through explaining how Rena survives in Meakashi and Watanagashi, but how do you explain Rena surviving in Tsumi Horoboshi?
No way, it's the virus episode after all. How does the Hinamizawa virus work?
Yeah, let's just provide context that we
oh no.
that we were originally going to record this as a debate on the virus between Des and Horsecam.
Horsecam was defending that Takano was wrong, and now would be defending that Takano was right, and then the Queen Carrier did exist, and everyone would die after 48 hours.
You then realize that you just actually agreed with Horsecam's arguments, so there wouldn't be any argument.
Yes. And so we decided to make a tier list episode, which actually, the idea came from a viewer. I forgot to say that. One of our viewers suggested we should just do an episode rating the Higurashi arcs.
Yes.
Here we are.
And as a present to you, viewer, you get to watch Higurashi go with me.
Yeah, that's gonna be all of the prizes we do for giveaway.
The worst present.
You always get to do a watch along with Anon.
As I think Sumo Boshi's a really good arc, but I think the only reason I wouldn't have said it in my favorites was just because I think I was just really tired and out of it when reading it.
Yeah, it's something you gotta be alert for. It's so good.
Because I took a break after I read Miyakashi. Then I read Sumi Horoboshi.
I read all of the arcs in just kind of this drone binge over an entire summer.
Oh, damn. I think I read Tsumi Horoboshi was the arc where I read the most amount of hours straight. I read almost all of Tsumi Horoboshi straight. It was so gripping.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think because I like Rena's characterization as she continually going down that downward slope of fucking.
Yeah, and this is an answer arc, so obviously answers are being given. But the way the answers are given in Tsumi Horoboshi is the most confusing fucking shit. Because first of all, the story starts presenting itself in a way that you think Takano, this person who knows about medicine and is very mysterious, is telling Rena about village rituals. Okay, so I guess the answer is yes, it's a village ritual and someone is going along with this ritual. But then you find out, wait, one of the diaries was actually about aliens, so it was actually aliens all along? Is this what Higurashi is about? And then later on, you find out that actually Takano had a lot of different books, and each of them had a different explanation. He just keeps getting worse. It just keeps giving you wrong answers. It's so funny.
All right, just put Tsumi Horoboshi at S tier. S tier.
Yes. S tier.
Yeah, if I made a personal tier list, I'd probably put in just A tier, but I think it's probably an S tier arc. Yeah.
All right, Mina.
All right.
This arc sucks.
Or scam. I've been waiting to get to this one for you.
Alright, how long should this rant should be? Okay? I'm gonna I don't know, Des, intervene anytime you feel like you wanna intervene.
Oh god.
Alright, so Umineko is the most boring arc of every arc in this in Higurashi. It is so boring that I was literally skipping through text through the major narrative.
Maybe that's why you found it boring, don't you think? Don't you think? Maybe you missed some key points.
I did not read this. It was bad.
That is the worst fucking take you've ever...
I wasn't skipping, I was skimming. I was reading it for a 9
That's the same. You're reading the story on a shallow level. How do you expect the story to have any meaning
literally,
to you?
What is the meaning of they're literally gathering the town together to go save Satoko? That is basically the entire plot of the first 3/4 of the arc.
No, but there's meaning there, Horse Game. Literally, Keiichi Keiichi, instead of doing things by himself, he is depending on everyone around him. And this is the arc where everyone is depending on their friends, which is literally...
I think it's cool.
No.
I know, but it's just an arc just to torture Rika. Like, it's an arc that, like, is like, everything good's gonna happen, so something bad is gonna happen. It's a very predictable arc.
Okay, no.
Like, I understand Rena's like, she's overcoming her dad by talking it out with Mion. Oh, Shion's not being weird. Keiichi's talking out with his friends and crying about how he used to shoot kids in the eye.
That's a Sumi Horobashi, actually, I think. But
you might be right.
I think Minagoroshi, as an arc, it is a good payoff to, like, the themes, good, like, thematic payoff to after, like, all of the murder and everything to just finally go for the peaceful option and just, like, finally de-escalate the situation through, like, the entire community rallying together. But it's just a fucking boring arc just as its own. It just keeps going on, and then on, and then on.
See, I've never played Undertale. Is the Pacifist run really boring to do?
No.
What the fuck?
Like, the Pacifist arc Pacifist run still has, like, good gameplay. I almost fucking called it the Pacifist arc of Undertale.
The Pacifist arc!
Yeah, like, this is like the, like a pacifist ending for, like, Higurashi. We're like, we solve all of our problems. Yay! But we didn't solve the one problem that's been in the back of our head since, like, the beginning of the story, and kind of Tatari Garashi.
But that's a good thing.
Satsuko gets shot in the fucking head.
That's a good thing, because this is the only arc in Higurashi where you get to feel what Rika must have gone through on the first couple of arcs, where she was trying and probably did almost reach a good ending, but then something bad happened at the end and all of the efforts went to nothing. That's how Rika felt. That's how we felt when we finished reading. We were like, this was such a good finale. Why does the story keep going? Why did this fail? Like, we did everything. We did everything. There's nothing else we can do on the next arc that we haven't done on this arc. That's how you feel after finishing Minagoroshi.
Yeah, I think it is a good payoff for, like, those reasons with its place in the story. But it's just reading it is not interesting to see them go to just protest more and more and just go talk to the adults.
Yeah, like, I think this is... I haven't seen the Minagoroshi stuff in the anime, but I think I would rather watch this arc than read it.
Well, but then if you watch it, you might as well just skip it, because the good parts about Minagoroshi...
What?
What are the good parts? What is a good part beside the ending?
I'll tell you what the good parts about Minagoroshi is, because if you strip down Minagoroshi to what it is just a repeat of Tatari Goroshi, but... What's good about Minagoroshi?
Well, you can watch that!
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. The good parts about Minagoroshi are not the building blocks, are like the material the building blocks are made of, are like the subtle differences that you see on the characters if you've been paying attention to the story. It's the interactions that you see that are different. Like, it's not just Keiichi not going the genocide route, it's also Nena and Keiichi starting to have this great dynamic together. It's Shion.
Why can't I watch this? I heard Kai is better than the original first season.
Because then if you watch this and you do not have this intricate parts of the characters, then what are you even watching it for? Might as well just skip it.
I mean, like, what if I just read the first 6 arcs and then watch the 7th arc's anime? I wouldn't be mentioning anything, would I? He falls silent.
I fell silent because I do not care enough about the anime to know what we're talking about right now, to be honest.
Like, I'd say with Minagoroshi, like, it's a good building block in the story, but it's just very boring. But I don't know how I would write it to make it not boring, while still, like, having it serving its purpose in the narrative.
I understand that, yes, this art can be quite boring at a lot of times, but I also understand from the perspective of a writer that some of these building blocks they bring in here are really important. Like, I like kind of seeing, Keiichi and Rena's dynamic kind of fleshed out there, and it is, and then of course the ending is quite interesting, but
yeah, the ending is probably the most interesting part of the story, because, like, I understand it's supposed to be like this build up to like Rika, like it's Rika's rally up until the end.
Yeah.
It's Rika's last chance. She's so happy. She takes the call to save Sadago. And she like I don't know if she cries, but like I remember she's like very happy, and then that whole ending happens and she fully loses it.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads into the next arc, which is immediately after.
I think like Himatsubushi has the same I think Minagoroshi has the same problem as Himatsubushi, where it's like kind of the vegetables of the story that like you need to eat alongside like just the insane meats and sweets of the other arcs.
Yeah, Sumihara Boshi's such a big juicy steak. Minagoroshi's the shitty fucking made Brussels sprouts next to
I
it.
like Brussels sprouts.
I'd say it's more just like unseasoned cauliflower.
What?
Like, it's not bad, but it's just like
no. Minagoroshi is sushi because not everyone likes it.
I mean, cauliflower is good.
Well, like I think about like Minagoroshi, like how you'd make it better was that like all the building blocks are important, but like them being like drawn out the way they are is just fucking boring to read. But if you like just made it happen like really quick, of like just rushing through it, of it's just the points, then it wouldn't really feel earned at all. So I don't know how you would like improve it.
But I think Ryukishi does something like what you're describing to me. I think Ryukishi did something right in that regard, because many of the scenes where it is repeated content, you are going through it with Rika. So not only do you have a different perspective to ease you through it, you also get to see, like, you are going through this again, but Rika is too. So it helps to build this melancholy.
But Rika's dumb.
Like I don't mean to say that repeating content just because a character is experiencing repeating content is a good narrative thing to do, because it isn't. But I think in Higurashi it's well done. I guess it's as simple as I think the execution was done right, and you don't think the execution was done right.
Here, Des, like, you should understand this, but like here, like, the reason I felt like this, like, what made me really sour about Minagoroshi was this boringness of it, that whole scene in the front half with the Xbox 360 scene. And this immediately followed one of the best things I've ever read in a while. And I've been reading this boring-ass story. I'm like, where the fuck is the cool shit?
Wait, what's the very good part that you read?
Sumihara Boshi.
Ah, okay. No, I thought you were referring to a part of Minagoroshi. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I guess I get it.
I'd say, also, like I was saying, how Go just kind of, like, ruined, or made my opinion on Minagoroshi worse, is that, like, Go, it's just Minagoroshi, but without, like, any of the like, narrative build-up of the rest of the story to make it work as a payoff, but, like, just as an arc in a vacuum, what is the difference in Go? Like, it's just the same, but it's just so much worse because of...
Difference in Go is that you don't have the intricate things with the characters that I've been telling you about. That's why it feels shit. And also because Go is just shit in itself.
Okay, so, Minagoroshi, C tier. That's me.
Yeah, I'd say, like, C tier, like maybe B.
I'd say A, to be honest, but Anon, what do you think?
I would put it in B. I don't think it's quite at the level of Himatsubushi, which once again Himatsubushi isn't bad necessarily, but I guess that's the point you guys are making about...
Yeah, here's the thing. I think I'm fine putting this in B tier, but I don't know about, like, making this is better than Himatsu. I don't know if this is better
really?
than Himatsubushi.
I do think it's better than Himatsubushi.
Yeah, I think it should be in, like, B tier, because I think Minagoroshi, it is well written, it's just very boring and dry.
Okay, B tier it is. B for boring, I guess.
Yes. Alright, now the last arc.
Matsuribayashi!
Matsubushi.
No,
it's...
I'm really not sure where I'd put this, because I think, like...
Actually, I'm not sure either, to be honest.
I think that the first half with, like, Takano is really good, and the parts of, like, getting all the arcs together are really good, but I do not like the second half after the, like, putting together the fragments.
Children destroy a paramilitary.
Yeah.
GTA 5 Hinamizawa edition.
Yeah, because it just feels like it's very just, like, going through the events of, like, alright, we gotta give the characters a happy ending, they gotta overcome the bad thing, and then the characters were all happy.
Well, but that's so cool. Like, not like on Tsumi Horobashi, you had all of the children come together to push through, and then in Minagoroshi you had all of the village come together to pull through. But then in Matsuribayashi you have all of the village and even external characters coming in together to push through.
Yeah, it's like it's Smash Ultimate fucking series.
Yes, and it's like
everybody's here. Fucking Rika literally pulled so many strings to get Akasaka here. Actually, more Hanyu did that.
Yancy, do you not like the ending because it's everybody gets a happy ending? Do you not feel it was earned?
I don't think Satoko deserved a happy ending.
No, I think that's fine. I just think that the ending itself feels like the second half of it feels fairly like going through the motions.
What do you mean?
I personally really like it.
What do you mean going through the motions?
Just like, alright, we've finished up the main story, let's just have them win now.
What if... But that so you're saying there were no... it doesn't... Like, the stakes weren't... Like, didn't correspond to what they achieved?
Not the stakes... I guess it's also just that the abilities of the kids just feel like very much like they just escalated out of nowhere to win against the threat. Like, these characters should not have fucking defeated an entire military squad with Mion just beating like a very well-trained like mercenary in hand-to-hand combat.
No. I think all of that is set up, though. A lot of that is set up. They know what they're... Mion is professionally trained. Both Mion and Shion are professionally trained.
They are, but even so, I do think that's a bit of a hiccup on the story. Because they are professionally trained, but they certainly do not have as much train as Okonogi.
Yeah, like Rena Keiichi, I can't believe they did it.
Okonogi's the best part of this arc.
I can somewhat believe Satoko.
Like, yeah, Satoko makes sense because it's just traps. A really good trap. It's just, the whole mountain is full of traps, and we know Satoko is fucking insane. She builds traps that can harm people, so that would make sense.
Did they not have guns at all?
They didn't because they are guerrilla warfare.
They're Japanese.
They are not like, they aren't meant to be like frontline soldiers. They are meant to operate on the shadows. They do not use guns.
Oh.
The only person we see with a gun, it's only Takano has a gun.
Yeah, that might explain it because usually for like how shadow things work, it has a lot of scouting, and like if they don't know that terrain, like that mountain at all, they might have a really bad disadvantage compared to like the other people, where like Satoko's been up there almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
And Rika probably knows it a lot. I don't know about Mion though.
I guess if you think about it as just guerrilla tactics, like the advantage the Viet Cong had, I guess it makes more sense for Satoko. But I guess just when I was reading it, just felt like the abilities of the characters just escalated a lot just because they had to win that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do really like the second half of Matsuribayashi. It's a good first... I think it's something like... It's a good ending. It's not too short. Like you say, it's going through the motions, but it doesn't feel short. It's really long. Because it's like, there's like 3 things happening. There's the stuff with Shion Akasaka at the lab.
Yeah.
At the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have everyone else in the mountains, and I believe you have something going on with Oishi.
Maybe it's just that I was going through the motions as the reader.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Like, after the, like, combining of the shards ended, I just felt like the chapter had peaked already.
I really do like the fact that how they come up with the idea of hiding Rika is kind of like, they do ask the questions like, wasn't there something like we could do to beat the thing? And like my first thought of, wait, didn't like the Great Hanazawa disaster not happen in both Miyakashi and Watsunagashi? Rika technically died, but not by Takano's hands. Only Takano has to kill Rika, or at least Takano has to report the body.
Oh my god.
I think that like the first half of Matsuri Bayashi is like S tier for me, and the second half is like B tier.
I would say this is an A tier chapter.
I would say it's an A tier chapter, yeah.
It's not as good as the question arcs, but it is a very good finale. I heard like the console arcs finale is better. I forget what it's called. It's like Mio Sushi.
So yeah, I don't think. Did we mention that like fucking Takano's like flashbacks in like the first half of it? Because I really like those. I really love how like,
yeah, we briefly did at the start.
The arc right before it just kind of revealed of like, oh, she's just Lady Hitler, just like the worst fucking person, and then immediately somehow is able to make you sympathize with her greatly.
Yeah, you kind of can't analyze Matsuri Bayashi without also speaking about Minagoroshi, because both of those episodes feel like the finale of the show. And when Ryukishi finished writing Minagoroshi, he had a really tough thing to do, which would be top Minagoroshi's finale somehow.
Minagoroshi's finale was more of like a cliffhanger. It's like, haha, you made the wrong turn, sister. Because like that's how it's supposed to end, with like just Takano shooting everyone to death and then fucking killing Rika.
But okay, I don't mean from the standpoint of the events that happen. I mean from a thematical standpoint, because Higurashi is a story about togetherness, and that's why they quote unquote won in Minagoroshi, was because they came together. So he would have to top that togetherness.
Yeah, but they didn't win.
I didn't win against Takano, but they
Rika
won.
Still died. Everyone died.
But they won some. They at least rescued Satoko. What I mean is that, yeah, they didn't not win against Takano, I know that. But the togetherness was there. So they would need something even more than that. Like, whatever Ryukishi would write, it would have to make
friendship.
Even more thematical sense than that. That's what I mean.
Miracles. That's what they needed. Miracles.
Well, you've had miracles through the whole story, in a way. Like, Keiichi remembering stuff. Fucking Akasaka coming back, that's a miracle. Like, I'm not gonna get into lying you, but Hanyu, like, that's not a chance. Like, that's not chance. Hanyu, that happened because Hanyu wanted to. But I also think that I really like Matsuri Bayashi, but there are things missing from it. Like, Hanyu just fucking disappears and nobody even mentions her disappearing. It's only if you read the manga.
That's okay. Who cares about Hanyu?
Well, I don't really like Hanyu, but I feel like she's too important of a character not to have some kind of closure. And there's a manga arc that does that really well. I don't know how you'd implement that into main Higurashi, but it is really important. And then you also have stuff like Sakorashi. Sakorashi is also something that's really integral to Higurashi. It isn't in Higurashi.
I mean, like, those are like extra arcs. Maybe one day in the future we'll do a tier list of the extra arcs. Maybe if we all read them, but I've only read like 3 of them.
Okay, so are we gonna put Matsuri Bayashi in A tier? Is that what we've agreed on?
Yeah.
Sure.
We just have half the arcs in A tier.
Well, that's a testament to how good Higurashi is as a whole, right?
Yeah, I feel like we probably just made a very inoffensive tier list democratically.
Well, I mean...
I mean, it's not like because we talked it out. It's not like we went like, I hate Minagoroshi and put in like super F tier and all the other arcs in A tier.
That would be your tier list.
I wouldn't change much personally for like a personal tier list.
I would put Minagoroshi lower.
I might like do actual ordering, like, for example, Sumihiro Borushi in front of Tatarigoroshi, but...
Yeah.
Higurashi, the When We Cry podcast is #1 pick for Higurashi. Higurashi arc is Sumimaru Boshi.
Yes, everyone should start with that arc.
Yeah, start with that arc. Start, like, literally more than halfway through the series.
Well, with this tier list completed, do you guys think we can still do Go and Sotsu?
I think we have enough time for Go and Sotsu.
All right.
Like I don't think it'll take that long.
So basically, we weren't sure how to represent the arcs. So Horsecam had the brilliant idea to use our thumbnails.
The first one is the last arcs, by the way. The first one is the last arc. I don't remember what it's called. It's like God.
God, yes. Just go ahead and put the first arc in.
Yeah, put the first arc in the top.
It's the only alright one.
Okay, so first arc going to the. I agree.
Yeah, it's not really that interesting, but also it's not bad enough to. It doesn't.
It's a good arc. It's like, honestly, if Higurashi Go was good, I think it would have been a really good setup arc, but like, honestly, it isn't.
Yeah, I think it is a decent opener arc to like take you by surprise and be like, alright, we're on a new fucking Higurashi.
Mm-hmm.
Wild shit's going to happen, and then it just didn't pan out.
Yeah, because like, the next arc, Watadamashi, like, I put an F tier.
Oh,
like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, in Onidamashi, you have a lot of good theorizing material. We made so many theories just on Onidamashi.
I know, we tried. We were trying up until like the last arc of Go, whenever we finally just gave up.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we counting like the Sotsu versions of those arcs as different arcs?
Yes.
Yeah, different arcs. Of course. If they count them as different arcs, we'll count them as different arcs.
They count as different arcs because they're even worse, because it's just the same again.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a bad anime.
Yeah, so Buff Keiichi, F.
Watadamashi.
Buff Keiichi, yeah, F, I agree.
Yeah, it's like
worse, but like
it's not good, but it's still funny.
Yeah, it's not quite good, but we're not quite.
And then fucking this next arc, which I believe is gonna be the Calendar Gate one, is H. Put that at the bottom, like fucking that arc. God awful.
What even happened in that arc?
Yeah, that was just like fucking.
It's the same thing as this.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
no, it's
and
the
then it goes
Minagoroshi.
straight into Minagoroshi without doing
Put
anything.
an H.
Yeah, just fucking nothing.
Actually terrible.
I would like to argue that we need to put this on G, because even though it was boring as balls, it had the shock value of the finale, which none of the Sotsu arcs do, so we should save the H tier for.
I will say, to be fair, yeah, H, we might not want to put it in H too early, because this next is the next arc the Neko Damashi? Dude, I hated that arc so much.
I would put that in F.
Really?
I personally like it. It's something. It's new content at least.
That arc. It's new content, but I hated the new content.
I'd put it in F.
Nekodamashi is the arc where we finally started getting some answers, and we finally realized that
the show's bad.
It wasn't even worth it. Like, the show is actually bad.
I'd say there was at least like something cathartic about it being like explicitly bad with new content.
This is how this arc ruined hopes for the series. Like, at least people still had hopes with Atari, but like Neko Damashi started and everyone lost hope.
I just hated Neko Damashi because, okay, yeah, so it's new stuff and it's like, oh, what's going on? Why is everyone killing Rika? But at the same time, it's like, oh, let's just spend an entire arc killing Rika for fun.
Hey.
But no, it's part of the mystery, because, well, why does everyone want to kill Rika? Why is everyone going L5? Akasaka? Whoa, what? I just hated it so much.
That was such a funny episode, though. It was so funny.
It's funny, but I hate it.
Yeah. So which one of these is Nekodamashi?
Higurashi speedrun, I think.
Yeah, because of the episode. Yeah.
Not my Rika's the next arc.
Yeah, it's the next.
Yeah, the
so
next
is this going to G or F?
F.
F. It's better than Atari, but like not by much.
Yeah, you're right. So the last one, Saikoroshi. Wait, Saikoroshi? No.
Satokawashi.
God,
so bad. It's so bad.
Honestly, I don't know how to rank this because this is
G.
like this is. I would put this in F or G.
I'd
Like,
put it in
it's-
G. It doesn't deserve an F.
Yeah.
I hate Satoko as a villain.
Maybe F or E for me.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you not hate about it though?
What do you hate less about it?
I feel like the start of like the school arc was kind of promising.
Yeah, but we know it didn't amount to anything. So
Yeah, but like I still like appreciate that as like inklings of like some potentially good story that could have been told there.
Yeah, Des, remember the calendar thing? Not the calendar, fucking the fucking ceiling? Put up the chandelier.
The
the gate chandelier. Yes.
Yeah, that goes straight into the new ED.
Yeah. Oh my god, that ending. I did like the start of the ending is so good for closing an episode. Like fuck.
Yeah, like
But yeah, so where are we putting this?
F. E.
I don't want to.
Really? Does it not deserve a G?
I do not want to.
I would put this in F.
I wouldn't put in G. Like,
Just don't
F.
worry, I'm with you on this one. But this was at the point where I just wanted to like burn everything Go-Sotsu related.
Okay, so I guess that means it's an F. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
I suppose.
Alright, now the start of the next arc.
Sotsu, oh god.
What was this arc even? Only oh yeah, no, it's just
It's Oni Akashi.
yeah.
This is just this is an H.
H. Just put an H. Which one is it even? That one?
no,
Yeah,
I think
so.
that I thought the Rena episodes weren't that bad. Like maybe G.
G? Okay, I could live with that.
Maybe G, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine. G.
Next arc definitely.
Then we have Satoko Hojo. It's this one, right? This is
Yeah.
Wata Akashi? What?
Is that when
Yeah,
she
Wata
was like
Akashi.
fucking? Like,
That's when she learns how to shoot.
Oh, I hated this
the
one.
fucking Tepe wholesome
I
episodes.
hated this
True.
one because no.
This has to go to D because of Tepe.
Oh wait. Oh, okay.
This did start
Okay.
the wholesome stuff.
You know what?
But like
I think maybe E.
The Tepe stuff was so funny. You're right.
that started in the first season, but like it did like she learns how to shoot because she makes him win games.
Yeah, I feel like this was stupid enough to maybe go into E tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
E? Do we all agree on E?
Yeah.
I would
No,
not put this in E. No, I
Wait,
put this in. E fine.
Well,
Do we agree on E?
no. Hold on.
Thought of maybe going to F, but
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a vote for F. Horsecam, where do you vote?
F.
I'd vote for like E.
My problem with this arc was, okay, the Tepe stuff was really funny, but this was the point where the Sachiko stuff just got even more ridiculous. Like, oh, hi, what was it? This was the one where she just casually injected Mion from,
Mion
like,
in the-
behind, right?
Yeah, but
Just
true.
injected her in the ass.
Okay, but at
Yeah.
this point, you're no longer taking the show seriously. So
I
this is
know.
a great arc.
I
So-
know, it
Yeah.
is hilarious though, but I hate it.
Yeah, fucking F. Please put this in F.
Fine.
Okay, fine. F tier.
God, we're having to. Everything's going
Alright,
to F now.
the
Oh, God.
wildness of Tatari Akashi.
This one was hilarious too.
This is the
hated it.
worst. This one is the worst. It's so boring.
I think I'd put it in H, but it had like one really fucking funny episode.
Yeah, that was the episode where it's the episode before it ends, where like fucking Oishi pees and like fucking Satoko's mind shatters.
Oh gosh, remember when the like killing Tepe was like 1-to-1?
I'm with Yensid on this, in that this is boring as balls, but there's one really funny
It
episode.
has like one really funny episode, but like that episode like made me like so angry of how fucking terrible the mystery was, so maybe H.
This is whenever I just like, I'm done, and I didn't even come to the watch-alongs anymore, I just watched, because I was like, Higurashi-Sotsu's a waste of time, and
I'm surprised why you didn't, because every episode we would behave like monkeys.
Yeah.
The next arc, like, this arc, like, when Satoko's mind shatters towards the end of this arc, where she becomes two different people,
two Satoko's like, shut up.
and fucking kills Tepe, is fucking hilarious to me. Like, it's so dumb. I definitely would put this in G.
Okay, do we put the last arc in the highest tier or the lowest tier?
If you want to count the penultimate episode, if it's just the penultimate episode, I would put this in, like, D tier, yeah. But, like, everything else about the final arc, I would not.
What did final arc even have?
Well, like, it'd be like the penultimate 2 episodes.
Not anime fights.
But what happened besides the 2 final episodes?
Shit, it was 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, the arc was just 2 episodes, right?
No, I think it was like 4 episodes, and like
It's 4 episodes.
2 episodes were just fucking like Neko Damashi, and it was boring. But then the last 2 were the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah.
The second to last was the funniest fucking episode of any anime.
So they balance each other out, even though the funny parts are stronger than the horrible parts. So I guess an E.
No,
Yeah.
I'd put it in D tier for the final arc.
Yeah, final arc D tier.
Anon?
For shitpost reasons.
Because it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
The 2 D tiers are high up for 2 very different reasons.
The two D tiers have Ryukishi on them.
Oh wait, so do we put the second to last arc in G or
God,
H?
we put
G.
H.
H.
Okay.
Sure.
H tier. Yeah, this is our
Alright.
Gosatsu tier list.
No
Alright.
E tier.
No E tier, yeah, because it's either alright, epic because it's hilariously bad, or it just sucks. Alright, this is everyone's definitive opinion on Gosotsu. This is the viewer, the listener's definitive opinion. On Gosotsu.
Yeah, tier lists don't care about your opinion.
Yeah, like we're content creators, so we can dictate our audience's opinions.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll do the side arcs eventually.
I'd be up.
Will we ever read those though?
I'd be up for a side arc log, like sometime.
We're never reading anything Higurashi related again.
I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast, but when we started the podcast, literally one of the first ideas for episodes was, let's read all of the side arcs and analyze them separately. We never did that.
Honestly,
They aren't as interesting.
I think we should do those for Furude Shrine episodes every now and then.
I've read a few of them. Oh my god, some of these arcs, like, I have a lot. I could rant about them. Honestly, I really want to.
Really?
In a good way or a bad way?
A mixed way.
Oh, I see.
Well, I guess that concludes the episode. Does anybody else have any other thoughts?
Well, since we are at the Furude Shrine right now, does someone want to piss on it?
Yes.